Welcome to the Better Two podcast. I'm your host, Donna. Today's guests are Kelly and Frankie Maxwell from the band called Shurr Jr. We talk about the band, we talk about the inception of the band and why the name Shurr Jr. Plus, we talk about their EP, Red Shelter, and, well, a lot more, including sobriety. So tune in. Hi, guys. How are you doing today?
Good.
Doing well.
Doing awesome.
So, you guys are not necessarily new. You've been doing music for a while, but you're new to this band, Shurr Jr. Let's introduce you guys. Tell me a little bit about yourself. This isn't so much about me. This is about you telling your audience. And because it's a group, this is what I normally do. So tell us a little about who you are and what you do.
So, do you want to go first, Frank?
I'm Frankie Maxwell Jr. I play the drums in the band Shurr Jr.
I'm Kelly Maxwell. I play bass in Shurr Jr. I joined I was the last person to join this band, but
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. And I actually played guitar, and then Frankie moved me to the bass, and he taught me all the bass parts. So yeah, now I'm the bass player.
So now we have the rhythm section here.
Yes, the rhythm.
The
yes,
rhythm section.
right here. The dynamic duo.
Well, and this brings up a good point. Why did you decide? I mean, obviously they were doing music and you were on the sidelines. What made you decide to jump in and say, "Hey, I want to join"?
Well, I mean, yeah, this band started first with Frankie and Nick. And at one point we were all living in the same house, and I'd be up in my room, and I'd hear the music that they're playing, like the music that's on this EP that's coming out next week. And I was like, gosh, these guys are good. They're getting really good. The music's good. And I think that's kind of when I wanted to take playing guitar a little bit more seriously. I wanted to learn their songs. So that's kind of how I started actually learning how to play the guitar, is playing their songs. And they're always like, you should come down and jam with us. Come down and jam with us. They wanted me to go down there, but I was confidence level. It's like, no, I don't know anything about like jamming in quotes. So, but then they wanted me down there. So I ended up eventually going down to where they practice down in the basement. And I mean, that was pretty much end of the story there.
Yeah, she would also sit when the group started. It was Nick and I playing. It was two acoustic guitars, and it was kind of an acoustic thing to start out with. And Kelly, we'd write songs in the garage, and Kelly would sit out there with us and be bopping her head along, and then it eventually went to, like, he wrote a song, I think it was called Desania, which is a single that's out right now. Came out like 2021. He wrote that, and I thought, well, I hear drums in there, so we jammed it out, and then we turned a lot of the songs from acoustic songs into full band stuff. And then we, like Kelly said, all of our siblings were living in the same house. So my brother Sam, we taught him to play the bass. So he was the bassist at first, but he's left-handed, so I restrung the bass the opposite way so he could play by missing one of the strings. So he only had 3 strings to play the bass. And then he was the bassist for a while. He moved to Minnesota, and then I thought, well, Kelly was already playing as the second guitarist, so it was a 4-piece with all 4 of us. And then I thought, well, she's actually doing really well at the guitar, so I taught her to play the bass. She picked it up so quick. I was so proud of her.
Yeah.
And
we'd run down like all through all the songs.
Yeah.
And like just practice them over and over and over and over again. And
it was a lot of fun.
It was really scary the first, because Nick was in college at this point still. When Frankie was like, let's just do a 3-piece band for right now. You'll be on bass, Kelly. You'll learn how to play bass. This was in October of 2023. And Nick was still in college, so he was down in Nebraska. So while I was practicing those, like we were both practicing those 2 months until December. And then when Nick came back and we did our first practice together, I was so nervous because I was like, I hope Nick likes it. I hope like we're all chill and it's good.
She fit in great. She compliments my drumming very well. And she takes direction very well. it was a good fit, obviously. Us being all siblings playing together.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I talked to somebody the other day, and it's while it's good to have siblings, we discussed the fact that, and he's an older gentleman, and he said to the fact that him and his brother, sometimes his brother would go out touring with him, and occasionally they would end up backstage at each other's throat. And then we discussed the fact that sometimes, with siblings, you don't have boundaries, but you have to kind of create those boundaries because there are Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas dinners and all those other things that you have to deal with families. So there's kind of a way to negotiate things. Do you ever
Sure.
do you guys ever experience that at this point, or are you guys just all still gelling really well?
I mean, I think that I think we're all pretty like even keel with each other like most of the time. I don't know. What do you think, Frankie?
I think we got all of that weird animosity stuff out when we were children, and now we're all
Plenty of fights way
yeah,
back when.
yeah. Well, because there was five of us
Yeah,
total,
that's true.
and me, I'm the oldest. Nick, the singer, he's the youngest. We're 7 years apart.
Okay.
We're all really close in age, and I think when you grow up just around that many people, it's strange at first, and then you just get used to it. I don't know. People have always said we get along really
Oh
well,
yeah.
and it's almost odd.
Yeah, exactly. Like we'd all go to the mall with each other and
Yeah.
like hang out. Like I don't know, like it's not cool to hang out with your siblings, but I don't I really like they're my best friends.
Yeah, my brothers and sisters are
Yeah.
my best friends, truly.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's important. So let's go to talk about your little not your little EP, but an EP is always little. Red Shelter. You did that just like the name as a tribute to your father.
Yes, he wanted to name a band Red Shelter. He loved that name, and then he passed away. He wanted him and I to start a band called Red Shelter. I'd be the drummer, and yeah, it's just he wanted to name something, so we named something for him.
Well,
And it's a cool.
go ahead, sorry.
Oh, no, yeah, it was just it's a cool name, Red Shelter. I don't just something it's a nice ring to it.
Well, and I wanted to say the song actually on the record seems to be more stripped down than any other song on it.
So yes.
Yeah,
So kind of going back to your roots, what you were saying initially when you guys started playing.
yeah,
Yeah, and that's kind of how, like Frankie was saying before, that's kind of how all of those songs started on acoustic guitar,
yeah,
all of them. And that one, I mean, sounds the best
yeah.
acoustic.
We never changed it from that.
Yeah.
It was we served it as sort of a transition into the back half of the EP in a way. Um, Looking back on it now, I can hear drums and where it could kick into
Yeah.
a full band thing. But I mean, we recorded this probably 4 years ago, I think,
Yeah,
Nick and
but-
I with Nate Van Fleet in Omaha. So it's been a while, and there was an original mixing of all the songs, and then we reworked it because I was still drinking at that point, and then I got sober, and I was just kind of putting stuff on the back burner. I wasn't ready to do anything yet, and I texted him and asked him, "Hey, can we start this again?" And he obliged and he was very patient, and he added a lot of like he's the lead guitarist on the whole EP. Actually, those songs sound so different than what they did in the original mixes. So I'm very grateful for him. But that Red Shelter song, it kind of makes me tear up a little bit.
Yeah.
That was one we didn't change actually at all. That one stayed the same. It's just Nick with an acoustic guitar.
It has that certain magic to it. Just
Yeah.
don't touch it.
Yeah, I love Nick's singing voice. He
Yeah.
has a beautiful singing
does.
voice. He's a very good lyricist too, and he's only grown since then.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So your dad used to, Shurr Jr. I'm sure with five kids, there was I don't want to say a kind of response, but we've all had parents. They kind of just tune you out and they're like, yeah, okay, go do whatever, go play out in traffic, that's fine. Not really meaning it, but I mean, I'm sure Shurr Jr. was kind of that kind of statement. It was like, or was he always engaged, really listening, or was Shurr Jr. just kind of his way of, go ask mom?
Oh, it was just a thing because I'm junior.
Okay.
Father and I share the same name, And there was a couple of times where he said, I'd just ask him something and he'd go, "Oh yeah, sure, Junior." And because he'd call me Junior.
Mm-hmm.
Shurr Jr. is kind of, there's a rhyme there. It sounded cool. And then I held on to that. I think it must have been in high school. I held on to that name. Was making album covers out of, magazine clippings. And one of them we're actually using. My brother wrote a song called Free Cash. We're using that cover that I made years ago.
Nice.
Finally put a song to it, which is pretty cool. But it was just a little thing he said, and I took to it. It's your
Instagram handle at one point, I'm pretty sure.
It was my Instagram handle. A lot of things, and then I spelled it a little wonky to make it. It was actually Shurr, Shure, but I actually have Shurr microphones. There are microphones that say Shurr.
Oh, I was gonna ask you why you changed the spelling to it. Like,
because everyone would have gone to the microphone.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that would make sense.
But if you spell the name a little weird,
no one would have. They would just see a bunch of microphones.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, it's just easier to Google. But yeah, that's where the name comes from.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when I picked my pen name, I went with DM Needham because I was writing a book from a guy's point of view. And I didn't want anybody to just already dismiss it. And then I realized, wait a second. So now I'm a direct message.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool.
You don't think about those things, though. So did your dad see your covers that you were doing, and what did he think of them?
I thought they were cool. He did. He did. I did release just a song on Bandcamp. He helped me record it, actually. It's called Australia, which we've reworked and rewritten kind of, and we're gonna hopefully record soon and put out there. It's a fun song. But he helped me with the original composition with that song. He thought the name was cool. He thought it was funny. The covers, I showed him the covers. He thought they were cool as well. Yeah, he was always supportive. He was always very supportive. Once we started learning the instruments, that's a thing that Nick always said, and he did the same thing. Our father did the same thing with me too. He kind of showed us something and then go, all right, you have to do the rest of it yourself. I can't teach you.
Which is interesting because he actually was a guitar teacher.
Yeah.
Like people would pay him to teach their kids like guitar lessons.
I bet if we paid him, he would have taught us.
Yeah, maybe we needed to pay him.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's kind of how that works. It's like the person who is a carpenter, he will get paid to go do somebody else's house, but if you go to his house, he doesn't want to do any of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh,
but he's very supportive.
Yeah.
Loved gear. I still use a lot of his stuff, and then I've added on to it. I'm surprised at how much I've accumulated over the years.
Yeah, he'd always get like there was one point like within the last year or two where it's just like there's this place called Sweetwater where you get a lot of equipment from. Like every week there'd be like a new box from Sweetwater. I was like, oh, what did Frankie get?
I was loading up.
What kind of equipment did he get?
Yeah.
Nice. I do want to circle back quickly, and if you don't want to talk about it, I understand. You were talking about sobriety. I think being in a band, there's always those trappings of falling off the wagon and not having sobriety. So before you're going on to this journey, I think it's important that you've already started that journey, that you already know your limitations and you already know about how to handle your sobriety. But do you find it somewhat harder being in this industry?
No, because I've been in bands and I've been a huge drunk on stage, so I know what that's like. It's very embarrassing. I've fallen off the wagon a bunch of times, while being, because I don't think many jobs, when you show up to do your, to work, let's say, and then you get free alcohol as part of your payment. That doesn't happen everywhere. But I haven't drank for 3 years. October 10th this year will be my 4th year. No alcohol.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. And it's still surprising in a way, but I don't miss it because I know where it leads. I know where that first beer or first shot leads, and it's a nightmare. So I'd rather not relive the nightmare ever again. And I don't need it playing music without alcohol. I can do it. I can do it now. I know that now.
Well, do you think you play better too, as well?
Oh,
Or
I definitely
what's
get more nervous.
yeah.
I will say having a couple of pops before a show helps you loosen up. But the thing is, I'd have 10,
Yeah.
or and then you're up there and it's all sloppy. Sometimes it's great, but not every time. And at least I know I'm prepared when I go on stage and play. Every part of mine is thought out and pieced together to where I like it, and I do the same. It's consistent. With alcohol, it wasn't ever. With me, especially, you
Yeah.
saw.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think with alcohol, number one, it does take all that insecurity away. It takes all that perfectionism out of it. So it's the same thing with people getting addicted to drugs and going out on stage. All those inhibitions are reduced. You can
Yes.
perform without anything, and you can think you're the greatest thing in the world, but that may not be the case.
No. No. Yeah. You think you're a rock star.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah. It's funny to think about now, but there are a couple of times. There's a band in Fargo I was in called Affiny, Affiney, I think. And we'd have band prayer where we'd each drink a Four Loco, a peach Four Loco
Oh,
before going on.
geez.
But I had 3 one time, and it did not go well. It was horrible. But I'm happy I'm better now.
Yeah.
This is better.
Yeah.
Finally
Well,
ready to do this band stuff at 31.
well, and you've seen now with the internet, with everybody having a phone on their camera, camera on their phone, you've seen bigger name bands get into altercations because of drugs and alcohol. And all that does is kind of turn people off because they're like, well, wait a second.
Do they even like each other?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's
And I mean, that's the hard thing about being in a band is, I mean, you guys are lucky, and there's been many a bands that have the same last name, and people are like, "Are you related?" And they're like, "No." And then there are others that are, but the fact is, because you're family, you have to kind of be that anchor to pull the other person back. And I
For
think
sure.
that has a lot more responsibility than just being. I mean, typically a band is a family no matter what, but being family, that heightens that, I would think.
yeah,
I agree.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that was a really tough time. Because I think at that end portion of your when you were still drinking, we were living together.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was hard. And it was hard to see him like that. But I know once a few things happened and he decided he was gonna stop drinking, and I have never seen this man more happy in my life. And he's said many times during his sobriety that he's like, I feel like I'm the happiest I've been in my life.
I
So
am.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah,
It's
that
nice to
was
be on the other side.
yeah.
That's for
And I
sure.
don't think we would have been able to do any of this stuff. Like I think that was like that needed to happen. Your sobriety needed to happen for us to be able to all like really want to do this
For
thing.
sure. Well, and then the flip side of the other coin, I couldn't have done it without the
Yeah.
help from you
Oh,
guys either.
thanks, man.
So there's a yin and a yang to it all.
A balance.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yes.
Healthy balance.
So who's the dog in the ink video?
That is Stevie. That is our dog,
Stevie Maxwell.
Stevie Maxwell. She is an Alaskan Klekai, so she's like a miniature husky. We've had her. She's about 3 years old now, and we're coming up on about 3 years since we've had her. She's great. She I was thank you for noticing that because I was like, I hope we can like people can see that like there's a dog that we're like chasing outside in the snow. Um, but yeah, she's great. She's awesome. I love that dog.
Stevie rules.
Yeah, Stevie rocks.
Yeah.
Stevie's great.
There's also a YouTube. We did that Kelly sings. We did a YouTube like cover of a Taylor Swift song, "Hey Steven," because I really like that song, but I've always heard it as kind of a punked up version of it. So we did a cover of it, and then Stevie's the star of the little music video.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
slideshow of all the pictures of her.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the song's for her. It's called Hey Steven.
And the hat. That was the other thing in that video. I'm like,
Yeah.
That was
Oh my
Nick's
God.
idea. He was married to that idea.
Yeah. Well, actually, the whole music video kind of like, because that was a week where everyone was getting sick. I mean, I feel like the flu's going around, all that. So like
Yeah.
Like Frankie wasn't able to be in it because
my girlfriend was sick.
His girlfriend was sick, so and then Nick was getting sick, but we were like, we have to get this music video going. So we filmed it in like 2 hours, and
it looked great.
Late.
I was
the fisheye lens that Nick got from Amazon.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, and then I think it turned out really well. Nick edited it himself, and
while he had like 102
while he was sick,
degree fever.
Wow. Sometimes go ahead.
Go on.
I was just gonna say, sometimes, no matter how sick you are, you still push through because it's got to get done.
That's so true.
Yeah, it was the week of.
We were a deadline was happening, and we had to execute, and we did it. And that the hat that you were talking about, it's like a bird hat, and it has wings, and you can like pull the string and it moves the wings.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we didn't get any shots of him pulling the string with the wings. But yeah, he's had that hat since he was like in elementary school. I don't know where he pulled that thing out from, but yeah.
He said
somewhere in his room.
He said silly hat. I got one. I'm like, all right.
Somehow I pictured that hat though. I remember that hat. Yeah. Gosh.
So there's a couple of songs in there I want to ask about, like Lewis Park. What was that about? What was the inspiration for that?
Well, that's an actual place here in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, it's a place, Lewis Park. I think Nick was going through a breakup at that time, so there's a lot of I think the whole EP actually is about
that
breakup and going through that. He was also listening to a lot of Hippocampus at the time, so that's a very hippocampus-y type of song. Yeah, that was. And then I think I don't know why he used the reference to Lewis Park. Usually when I play the drums, I have my head ear protection in, and I'm just bashing away, so I don't figure out what the lyrics are until much later. And then I go, oh, that's a really cool really cool line.
You got it right though. It's about a first serious relationship, and like I think Lewis Park is an actual place, and I think there's like a baseball field around there. There's like a bunch of other like basketball court, all that stuff over there. And I don't know why he picked that place, but apparently he said that I played softball when I was younger. My dad coached, and I think whenever we had a game somewhere around there, he would be there. And I think that name just kind of stuck in his mind, Lewis Park. So he used that as the title and line in the song.
Well, the reason I asked is because, it could be a person's name.
Yeah,
exactly.
Park.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people that aren't from there, I have no idea that you have the Lewis Park there. So
absolutely,
it's just this tiny little park that I used to hang out at actually when I was younger, and my friends they all lived around Lewis Park, and they called themselves the Lewis Park Gangsters, which is very silly. But it's a place. In that, I forgot what I was going to say. I apologize. But that's a fun song. I really like that one, and there's a killer guitar solo in that too.
Yeah.
That
one well, hopefully, because we're not playing that one right now.
Not playing that one live,
but we will. We'll play that one live soon.
We're gonna work on it.
We'll work on it.
That one's a weird playing. I don't know why I can't get the tempo like I did back then, but I was when I was drinking, so I don't know what the deal is.
Well,
I won't go back to it, so we may never play that song.
Or you reinvent it. I mean, come on. There's acts that have been in the music business for 40 or more years, and they have taken their standards and reworked them.
This is true. This is true as well. I really do enjoy that song. That's one of the first songs we wrote too, I think, if my memory serves me correct.
Yeah. And I wasn't a part of that writing process in that song, but I remember this was one of the songs when I was up in my room, I'd be like, I could recognize this song because this just sounds like so unique in the progression of it. I'm like, I know that one. I don't know any of the lyrics right now or any of the chords or anything, but that one sounds really unique to me.
So then maybe you guys need to rework it. Get the rhythm section, create a different tempo, and go from there.
We
I
got to
like
get this
that.
tempo right.
I like that.
So are you guys going to, I mean, you're talking about playing live. So I take it you already are playing live. Are you planning on doing any kind of touring with this, just local or bigger, or is there any plans for that? Since I know we do have a day job.
We're gonna stay local, maybe out of town. What, 2 hours, like Omaha?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, trying to be local. We're playing a show actually on the 3rd.
Yes, we are.
At the Full Circle Book Co-op here in Sioux Falls, and then we got booked to play the Four Winds Music Festival here in downtown Sioux Falls, which was very exciting.
Yeah, later in
actually.
August.
Yeah,
Nice.
I heard just that was when we just had 2 songs out, the digital single, and he really liked it, and he booked us for it, and that was when we just started playing. But we like to get more shows underneath our belt. I love playing live. It's a lot of fun. The first show we played live was at the First Circle Book Co-op, and it's a very tiny room, very intimate, which I enjoy. But I set my drums up against the wall, and the first song, I going to hit the cymbals. Hell yeah, I'm a rock star, and I smoked my elbows on the back of the wall. And then from there, I had to. After each song, I kept scooting the drum kit a little bit away from the wall.
I don't blame you. That does not sound like a fun time, but I mean that's the cool thing is it's an intimate place, but then yeah, you have the stage that it's so tiny and you all have to fit.
For sure, but we're coming back knowing what to do and what not to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No drums all the way back to the wall.
No.
Yes.
No, I need enough room.
Well, actually, we did learn. I feel like I learned a little bit because we were the first to play.
Mhm.
We were the first on the God, what word am I looking for?
bill.
Frankie? The bill. Thank you. So after we went, me and Nick were watching the other bands, and we were like, oh, we should have set it up that way. Oh, we should have set up our pedals this way. We should have set, So I was like, okay, I'm like trying to like pinpoint things that we'll do next time that we're at that venue so that we can, I don't know, make it a little bit easier for us and also easier for Frankie.
Mm-hmm.
There was a song, and I know you guys don't know this. There was a song on Schoolhouse Rock called "Elbow Room." So just kind of, you can look that up, Google it if you need to. But it talks about elbow room. You always need some elbow room. So just keep that in mind.
Got it.
Yes.
I'll have to look that up later.
Elbow room.
Yeah, because there was actually a club here called the Elbow Room.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah, years ago. But so when you're thinking about actually performing live, what kind of audience vibe do you want? Because I mean, some of this sounded like the Replacements, but then of course we have the slow song. And are you looking for more of an upbeat punkish vibe? Because there is a lot of punk feel to the record too, to some of your songs. So how do you want your audience to be? Do you want are you looking for the more punk type crowd, or are you looking for more of the grungy type crowd, or kind of a mashup?
Maybe a mashup. Thank you for saying it sounds like the Replacements. That's a great compliment. They're my favorite band. I love that band. I guess just I want to see the
movement,
the people moving, so that we know we got a good groove going. Because I think when we play, there's a groove.
Yeah.
That's how you know. Well, that's how I know I'm playing in tempo, and then I got that groove. But I don't know. I just like I've always liked the type of music that we play, where it's almost punk, but not quite there. And then the way I describe it is kind of up tempo, happy sounding music with sad lyrics. That's kind of what I gravitate toward.
Well, there's Morrissey for you.
Exactly.
Morrissey's, wait, what's the song?
Suede Head.
Why
do you come here?
Girlfriend in a coma, dude. I mean, it's got this lovely lyric and he's singing about it.
For sure.
It's like, okay. All right, so I understand then. You want that happy vibe, that danceable, and then people are going, wait, I'm listening to lyrics going, what?
Yeah. I think that way about Elliott Smith too.
Oh,
it's just such
sure.
beautiful music, and his voice is sounds like an angel, and then you listen to what he's singing about. This is
It's
so
just
sad,
heartbreaking.
but I love it.
I love it too. It makes me happy.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Yeah.
It's like
I enjoy that, but I don't. I just like to see the audience moving and having fun, smiling faces,
bobbing their head.
Although I play without my glasses on and I can't see anything, so I don't know what. All I see are a bunch of fuzzy figures.
Yeah, which is what's that like?
It's very it's guarded, I think, because I kind of just sit there and I don't really do much.
You like probably can't even see Nick or I's face.
I can't see.
He really can't see when he takes off his glasses.
It's bad.
But
glasses
on. But wouldn't that help with stage fright a little bit?
It's true.
It does. It does. But I feel like I should be doing more, in a way. But I don't know. We're still working out those early show kinks and just trying to have fun. That's the main thing. Not taking it too seriously while on stage. Having that serious face. Sometimes my face. When my face falls, I just look like I'm mad, but it's just because that's how my face is normally.
Oh, I think that's something that I'm trying to learn how to do. Not have my just really straight face. Trying to, exactly. I've got huge RBF at times, and I need to not do that. I need to look like I'm having fun.
Yeah.
But it's hard sometimes because I feel like you're performing, but it's almost like your body is performing in a way too.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to, the audience feeds off of what you're doing. So you have to put yourself in that mindset of like, I need to look like I'm having fun so that they think we're having fun so that they can have fun too.
Yeah. Because if they're, say the band's on stage, they're having fun, why aren't I doing the same thing? So there's a transfer of energy.
Yeah,
definitely, because after being on stage, there's such a stage high if the show goes really well that that's all that energy you have garnered from them, from that crowd, and they've gotten just as much energy from you and your music. So Beautiful. It's definitely an energy transfer. So the reason for the glasses coming off, is this like, is it because you're a drummer and there's issues with the head bobbing, or is this because it ruins the whole rock star mystique?
No, my glasses will fly off.
Oh, he has, I don't know, you can't see in the, really but he's got, what are they called?
I got croquis.
The croquis.
Okay.
He wears them at all times.
Yeah.
So it's the rock star mystique then.
It's Rockstar Mystique.
Oh God, he takes off his shirt too, and he definitely has a different. Yeah, it's a rockstar personality coming through.
It's not as cool as it sounds. I'll full curtain pull. I'll sweat so much that it'll just ruin whatever clothes I'm wearing. So I have to pop the shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gets sweaty back there, but it's a lot of fun too. But yeah, I've tried drumming with the glasses on, and they first song they go flying off, and then I got to worry, did they break? And then the whole playing, I'm wondering if I'm going to be able to see for the next couple of weeks because I need to get
and then you're talking about, if you've ever, I don't think I've ever really seen a drummer who is really drumming and going at it dry.
Yeah. That's true, but some of them wear jeans though, and I think that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, they wear jeans?
I know a lot of people who drum. Most of them, they wear jeans. I mean, maybe they'll keep the shirt on or pop the shirt off, but I can't do it because
you wear shorts. He wears shorts.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
No,
with pants,
and I have to have my Chuck All-Star 70s shoes on as well.
I mean, when you look at people like Tommy Lee, who barely wears, I think he's worn bikinis. The Red Hot Chili Peppers drummer has basically stripped down. Even No Doubt's drummer, they're all just.
Oh yeah, let it all loose. I like it. Yeah, you got to.
If it's gonna make you perspire that much,
it's a workout.
And I wear as much clothes as I possibly can, as many particles of clothing as I possibly can. Sometimes I show up to practice. I'm just wearing sweatpants and a hoodie pulled up over my head,
winter coat,
gloves. Oh, it gets cold down there.
It's a little hard to play with winter gloves though, the bass.
A little bit.
She wears fingerless gloves.
I wear I wear fingerless gloves.
Bass players have been known to do that, so yes. There was a time when I had a whole stage outfit for my bass playing, but yeah. Those days are long gone. Long gone. So when you actually get together, how often do you rehearse and how often do you practice for your gigs? And are you going to be recording any more music coming up? Now that you got a new EP coming out, is there any more that's going to be coming?
All right. You want to take this one, Frank?
When we practice the set, and then sometimes we'll go from the set. So we'll go set song 1 to the end, and then we'll go last song back the opposite way because Nick has different tunings he tunes to. So then the guitar is already tuned for the next practice. So it makes it a little easier on him, and we get an extra run through the songs. But we just play to keep that muscle fresh now. There's, but as far as recording goes, we have, I don't know how many songs now.
There's a lot. There's a lot of songs. Some of the songs we don't even, how many songs are on the set list? 11 that we play total. There are like way more than what's even on the set list. A lot.
Yeah.
A lot that haven't been recorded or like demoed. A lot that have been demoed.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna hopefully get to work here once the weather here in Sioux Falls starts to calm down, and we have enough gear here that I want to record everything here at my mother's place in the basement. And I've been working with the microphones and whatnot. I think I have a good drum sound, which is the main thing. Because guitars, we kind of have that down as well. But I mean, Nick was pumping them out for. I mean, it seemed like every other week there'd be 2 new songs that we'd have to, or not have to, but work through and
workshop.
Yeah, and he's gotten so good at songwriting that he makes it easy for me because he's such a good rhythm guitar player that I hear the drums and I already know what to do. I know my part. And then sitting down with Kelly and helping her with what she needs to do. But I think we have probably, I'd say 25 new songs that we'd like to record. So like 2 albums worth, I would say.
Yeah.
That we need to lay down and
yeah, sometimes I'm like, I look through my phone through like the voice memo app and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this one. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this one.
There's probably more.
So many.
Yeah. And they're all great. I love Nick's songwriting.
Oh, and I think he's really good at like finding like the melodies.
Very
like,
melodic.
Very melodic.
And
sometimes that's too. Like a blessing and a curse in a way. Like, do you know what I mean? Like like the guitar parts are like it's sometimes hard to learn because
he's very rhythmic.
You're very rhythmic
and melodic at the same time. He's very talented.
Oh yeah, very talented.
So what is your take as far as moving along in the future? Are you going to release a full album, or are you going to do what most people are doing now, which is here's a single, we're going to wait a couple of weeks, here's another single, we're going to wait a month, here's another single. What's your feel for that? Is that something that you want to do, is just release singles, or do you want to go ahead and release an album?
There's definitely a compiled group of songs, a lot of them that are on the set list that we're playing now that fit well together as one piece. But then there are a lot of songs where it's just we could release these 2 here or these 2 here. So kind of doing both at the same time just to get, so then we have stuff that's constantly being put out. But I think
that's like the toughest part too, is like the whole social media thing and like making sure you keep posting about this, taking pictures, making sure we take pictures and videos so that we can post them on the gram.
Yeah.
Like that's like another portion of it that's like
content.
Yeah, a bunch of content that we me and Frankie are definitely not like social media people. I would feel like
I'm horrible at
we got to work on it. We're working on it, and it's good for us. I think
I've posted more in the last few weeks than I have.
Yeah, this man
the last 7 years.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's great. I think people want to see from you. See things from you.
I guess. Yeah, yeah.
It's great. We're usually off the grid.
I think I delete and repost something 5 times because I messed it up or I don't know what
Oh,
I'm
I get
doing.
really nervous when I post something.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm like, does this make sense?
Yeah.
Are people gonna get what I'm trying to say?
Mhm. I'll post it and throw my phone across the room.
Yeah, I do.
It's the shouting into the void. It's like you don't know how somebody's gonna react to it. You don't know if somebody's gonna come back and say something. So you're putting yourself out there, and it's like, okay, now what?
You're like
Yeah.
at the subject of other people's opinions now, and you just
Hmm.
have to be okay with it. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is
And
cool.
and then you have, okay, so we're not doing TikTok anymore, but we're doing TikTok, but no, we're doing this now, and we're doing this now, and then we're doing this now. It's like, how are you? Because I mean, promoting the podcast, and as an author, I have to promote stuff, and it's like, where are you comfortable in? Why do we have to do this? I mean, it becomes like an hour to 2 hour long thing out of your day to post and promote and make content. It gets crazy.
Absolutely.
There's not enough
That's
hours in the day too. They go by
no,
so
there's not.
fast.
Not with a full-time job.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
it's like, if you want to make it now, you have to be able to do that, and that's the hard thing. And you just I've gotten to the point where, for me personally, I just kind of go, well, you know what, I'm putting it out there. If they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah, that's kind of how you have to be, right? That's what you, whenever you post something, you're kind of like, all right, we're done. I
Hmm.
posted it.
Hmm.
It's out in the universe, and we're just gonna have to let it be.
So you're saying I don't have to throw my phone across the room?
No, you don't have to throw your phone across the room,
And
Frank.
you might not want to throw the phone across the room unless you
Uh,
have a really good case on it, because otherwise it may end up in pieces.
Well, I'm looking at it right now, and the phone case looks like it's on its last lip.
I'm throwing it across the room. What
Yeah,
do you
that's
want me to
true.
do?
Yeah, it looks like he's thrown it across the room plenty of times now.
Maybe what you need to do is keep a little bubble wrap package, so before you throw it across the room, stick it in the bubble wrap and then throw it.
Good. I like that.
That way you can protect the phone,
There you
but still
go.
get your, it's kind of like back in the day, if you were upset about something, you could slam the phone down.
Oh
No
yeah.
slamming.
Wow. That's something that I never got to experience
I
at
was
all. I feel like that seems really therapeutic.
I was talking about it at work with someone because I was watching, it might have been Goodfellas or something, a movie where they had the payphones
Hmm.
and taking the payphone and smashing it up against things. You can't do that,
Mm-mm.
and there are no more payphones.
No. I I
Yeah.
had I had an employee when I was a supervisor. She got mad at a client, and I'm walking from my cube all the way to her front cube, and I just see her banging the phone on the thing. The thing is, though, in corporate America, those phones don't hang up like that. You hit the thing, they're done. That's it. You're not going to get the satisfaction. So she was just beating the phone on the desk, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Things break pretty easy. I'm not,
Hmm.
they're pretty they're not durable.
No. No, not anymore. Not anymore. Back in the day, yeah. I had a
No,
kid slam a phone in my head. It was not good.
oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Yeah.
you get that
Oh,
ringing too. Ding.
Hmm. It was just a handle, but still. Yeah. Back in the
Oh,
day, those phones, I mean, how many TV shows do you see where somebody slammed, or movie, somebody slammed a phone against somebody's head and they're bleeding? Yeah.
oh yeah,
whoa.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think that's going to happen with today's phones.
No,
I don't think so either.
Not that this is really part of the conversation, but like I said, we're going to see how it goes.
nice little digression.
Oh, yes. One of my favorite words, digress. Mhm. My friends rail on me about that all the time. Okay, so you're going to say digress now. Yes, yes.
I digress. I
Yes.
digress.
So, what do you think your dad would say about all this?
Think about that all the time.
He'd think it was awesome. He listened to um he got to hear a couple of the songs in there that Nick and I were playing when, I mean, Nick was still in high school. This was a while ago. But he heard one of them. I think it might have been Ink. Just the beat, that the groove that we have, the dan to get it dan dan thing that we had going on. And he thought it was cool. He just keep working it. And I think he would be very impressed with the songwriting. I think he'd think it was cool. That's the music that we all like to listen to.
Yeah,
So I think he'd
definitely.
be very proud. Very much so.
When did you guys decide that you wanted to be musicians?
Oh God.
Oh my lord.
Immediately.
Out the womb, give me a guitar.
I mean, Nick was like, when he was younger, he was such a funny kid. He would like play air guitar a lot and like put on like a jean jacket, like this like 6-year-old putting on a jean jacket and sunglasses. And what songs would he sing, Frankie? Or
Oh, geez.
there were it like I don't know, like U2 or something, or
It was U2.
U2,
U2 a lot. Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson, and he would just air guitar and sing along to it.
I learned how to play guitar by learning Bob Dylan songs, and I had the harmonica headstock thing, and I learned a bunch of Bob Dylan songs. And then my dad, I think he was saying I'm getting bopped out. I don't know if I can keep listening to Bob Dylan.
I'm getting bopped
So
out.
he showed me Green Day's Bullet in the Bible, which is their live performance at Milton Keynes in England after American Idiot came out. He showed me that, and from there on, I was whatever was punk ish. You know what I mean? That's where I gravitated toward. Then he started showing me the Clash, the Replacements, and started showing me a bunch of cool stuff. I think it was 11, maybe 10 or 11. Nirvana, Foo Fighters, all that good stuff.
And we would listen to all of that in the car.
Yeah.
We're originally from Omaha, so all of our relatives live down in Omaha. So on the car ride down to Omaha,
From Sioux
Falls to Omaha, we would listen to all of those records, the Replacement, like everything he said, the Beatles, Wilco, and honestly, I think that really shaped the kind of music that we all listen to now.
Mm-hmm. The Beatles was the ground.
Yeah.
Was the ground zero. That was the foundation, at least of my musical taste, because everything kind of has to have a catchy melody and energy to it. That's where and loud guitars and big ass drums. I love all that. But as far as drumming goes, because I started out just playing guitar, my dad he'd love to late at night he'd put on CDs on the boombox, and we'd sing each other's songs, but he'd teach me about the songs. Okay, this is just little things, little nuances about what's going on musically rather than lyrically. And he would, when he really liked a song, he'd go, "That song's so good, you got to play it twice," and then he'd play it again. But he noticed that when we were listening to it, he'd be air guitaring, but I'd be playing the drums. I'd be tapping on my knee. So he got an electric drum kit and had me start learning how to play the drums. I think he was like, "I'm going to teach you how to play the drums because I need a drummer." I took to it. That's where my mind goes to, is rhythm. A lot of the time when I listen to music, I'm always looking at the drummer while watching bands play, and that's where I gravitate towards.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, obviously all the things that we talked about with like listening to music, like music being a really big part of like our childhood and the kind of music that we listen to. I think though too, we have a little bit of a performance background on stage and theater. We were all in theater, all of us. So that was a really big part of our lives. I really love musicals. But I don't know. I think that I like being on stage, and I like performing, and I like watching performances. So, and I wanted to be a part of this in some way. So I really had to try to learn how to play an instrument. It didn't matter what it was, but of course, guitar. So I tried to learn that. Nick and Frankie really helped me. I think that playing with these guys, because they're really good at what they do, it makes me want to be better. And like, yeah, sure, sometimes when we practice, I'm like, gosh, I suck. These guys are so much better than me. But then that makes me want to like work at it and get better. And I'm like, that's not true.
It's better to play with people who are better than you.
Exactly.
It helps you grow as a musician. Also, I mean, I guess I've wanted to be a musician my whole life because our dad was in a band called 5th of May, and with our uncle Marty and our other two uncles, Dan and Kelly, they were in bands.
Yeah.
So we were almost bred to do music in a way. Music is a very big part of our family. And That's all I've ever wanted to do. I mean, I'll still continue to do it whether it's my job or not. I'll work 2 jobs so I can play, or you know what I mean, keep buying gear and keep putting out stuff. I just love it.
Yeah, it's very, very therapeutic. It makes me feel like I'm close to our dad.
Yeah,
like I
for sure.
think that that's the main reason too. Like playing like my acoustic guitar, like I'm like, it reminds me of, he would just bring his acoustic guitar downstairs and just like hit a little riff,
Yeah,
hit a little riff here or there, and make us laugh.
yeah. He was great. I think my dad might have been the greatest guitar, or our dad might have been the greatest guitarist ever. He was so good at playing.
He was
crazy. And listening to the records he put out, I mean, it's insane. He was so good. So we're very lucky to have that, and for him to show us cool stuff too.
Yeah.
That's one thing I was going to say is, you were talking about even if you have to work a normal job, one thing I think a lot of people lose track of is the fact that if you have, even if you're in the worst job in the world, as long as you have something to come home to that is creative, that's your passion, it can balance you out. It can offer you something where you're not so starved because you've been at this job.
For sure. It gives you purpose.
Definitely,
in a way.
Yeah. An outlet.
And everyone needs purpose. So just finding that, and mine just happens to be music. When I was drinking a lot, and after my father passed away, I thought very long and hard, I don't want to play music anymore, just because the one person's opinion that mattered the most to me was gone. So it's like, what's the point? But I was also drinking very heavy at the time too, so I toyed around with not playing music anymore. And I went to school for film studies. I was trying to be a traitor to who I was, trying to do something different, but I just couldn't escape that this is what I need to do just for me, whether anyone hears it or not. This is something that I enjoy doing, and I think the music is cool, and that's kind of all that matters. But also playing and watching people react to it is amazing as well.
But the thing about it, you said you went to film school. That will help you, and a lot of people don't see this, but sometimes we learn something that ends up helping us. That will help you with music videos. That will help you with doing shots, creating the shots you need for that music video.
That is the cool part about it too.
Yeah, you learned something. You learned some things there.
Yeah, and I did some editing for sound too, and that helped me kind of learn how to do recording. So because it's kind of the same thing, it's just sound, or you're recording, it's all microphones. So it did help me. I'm glad I did it. Even though I was lost for that moment in time, but it did help me. Yeah, you are correct. Very good point.
You found some pearls of wisdom while you were there.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful for it.
I think that's something that you can learn with like anything that you do, that not that you like, sure, that didn't work out for you, but you learn something from that.
Yeah.
And like no decision is a wrong decision. It's just a decision that you made. And it led you to where you are today.
Yes.
So
and that's a hard lesson that a lot of people miss. It's like we think, okay, made this choice, I screwed up, now what? And the thing is, we're supposed to make those choices so we can learn from them. I mean, I often laugh because the reason I do this is because I was a disc jockey. And the whole reason I became a disc jockey was because I won a pizza off the radio.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, we're talking I was an on-air personality for a radio station. Because I won a pizza, I ended up talking to the other guy who was on the radio, the one I won from, like a week later, recognized his voice. He was working a normal job at Musicland, and we became friends, and lo and behold, I became a disc jockey. And of course, now we call it on-air personality. But, and then I have a friend who's a sound guy 4 years ago, was like, why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing a podcast? And I'm just like, I thought about it, and so, yeah, I've been doing it for 4 years, but I would not have done it. I wouldn't have the confidence to do it had I not won the pizza.
For sure.
Yeah, it's even something as small, like, little as like, oh, I decided I'm going to go to the store today to go buy some jeans. And then what if that leads you to something else? You never know. It's the little things, the little decisions. No decision is a wrong decision. It's just the decision that you made. You gotta stand by that.
I mean, that's the thing where we get trapped is if the decision blows up in our face and it's not the right thing, then we're like, oh, I'm a failure. But the fact is, you were supposed to be somewhere, and that was supposed to happen for whatever reason.
Exactly.
For sure.
So, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to add?
I don't, I don't think so. I think you asked amazing questions.
Yeah. Thank you so much for um
Um,
having this conversation with us. I feel like I'm like, what time is it? This all went by so fast. This all went by so fast.
Well,
Um,
I thank you guys for coming on.
thank you for
well,
having
yeah,
us. We really
really, thank
appreciate it.
you. We appreciate it.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
having this conversation with us.
You're welcome. I'm sorry we missed Nick, but Frankie and Kelly did give us a great interview. I think their music is something that you can feel, you can get into it. Like I said in the interview, it's kind of got a punk feel to it, but it's also kind of got a little grunge. And listening to what they were talking about, what they listened to when they were kids, you can see where that came from. So I think as they evolve and they grow, their music's going to grow and their talent's going to grow, and you're going to hear more about them. But you should check them out now. They have an EP out called Red Shelter, and we talked about where that name came from. And, you know, their dad seemed like a big motivator for their musical career and their musical likes. And there's nothing wrong with that because, when I look back at my mom, it's funny because when I think about my parents being together, my dad had more of a rock type music. And, earliest memory is listening to Fame in the back of the car, WRNO in New Orleans was playing it. And I remember sitting in the back of my dad's Silica listening to Fame for the first time. And I was just enthralled. But then, after they divorced, then their musical taste, and it wasn't like they really immersed me into their musical world, except my mother because I'm in the car with her. And for the most part, we have Captain and Tennille, we have ABBA, we have um, the Carpenters, and Helen Reddy, and Neil Diamond, and your standard adult contemporary. And then my dad fell into this whole country thing. And then this teacher that I was living with was stuck in the 50s and 60s. And so then my dad suddenly went from country to when I go down for a visit, he's got Oingo Boingo in his cassette player. And he also listened to other modern rock type stuff. So my dad had more of the musical inclinations that I liked. I wasn't a big country girl, but when he moved into the rock again, it was kind of like, all right. And, I remember with my dad, he had this cassette player and somebody gave him a Walkman and they gave him the Wall. And I remember as a kid, I think I was like eighth, ninth grade, borrowing that. I begged him and he's like, yeah, you can borrow it. And I borrowed it for like 2 months. And he's like, can I have my Walkman back? Sure, Dad. And it wasn't that I was listening to anything else. I was listening to The Wall because the separation in the sound just amazed me. It was something that it was all encompassing and just pulled you in. And I think when you are inspired as a child to listen to something and to really engage with it, it can be very, very, very powerful. Um, and that's an amazing thing. It's like music can create something for us to grow with, to expand on, to be inspired. My dad played the organ when I was a little kid. I used to sit next to him and I would have loved for him to show me how to play. He never did. And that's okay. And I wish my parents would have fostered those creative skills, but they didn't. So I had to figure all that out on my own. And that was okay too because no one in my dad played the organ, but no one in my family played the bass. And I decided after listening to music, after listening to NXS and Duran Duran, that this is what I wanted. I wanted to pick up that bass guitar. I wanted to play bass. And so I did. And how he was describing picking out the drums, it's like that became me. That became who I was. It's like I still listen to music fully, but a lot of the times I listen to those bass lines that stand out and that just create this whole presence in my body and my mind, and I can sit there and listen to them and focus on that. And I think that is that's what we end up doing as musicians. We end up taking those notes, those instruments that we listen to, that we play, that we understand the music composition, and we go from there and we create something. And having a family like they did, having a father that was a talented person, that ends up bringing it even in more. So now that I've rambled a little bit, as always, I think you should go check out their EP. You can find their music on Spotify and other resources. You can pick it up. And well, I thank you guys as always for tuning in. I thank Rich Sy from 30 Year Audio for doing the audio production, and I thank Fast Susie for the intro and outro music. And most importantly, I thank you guys for tuning in. So I hope you have a wonderful evening, day, weekend, whenever you're listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.